Welcome to another episode of Kalahi Canada. And today what we are going to talk about is immigration, especially the Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program. If you want to know about this program, about the stream to become a permanent resident here in Canada, so stay tuned. So welcome back to our episode of Kalahi Canada Immigration. As I've said earlier, our topic for today is about the Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program. So what is this AINP? So the Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program is an economic immigration program that nominates people, qualified eligible people, for permanent residence in Alberta. So this one is specifically for those who want to stay in Alberta. So there are three streams for PR under this AINP. So number one is this Alberta Opportunity Stream. So this stream is especially for those who are already here in Canada, who are already working here, especially in Alberta. So the next stream is the Alberta Express Entry. This program uses the Express Entry program of the federal government. And the third one, or the third stream for this AINP, is the Self-Employed Farmer Stream. For the purpose of discussion for this topic, so we will just focus first on the Alberta Opportunity Stream. So now we go to the eligibility requirement for this Alberta Opportunity Stream. So number one eligibility requirement is the residency and a work permit of an applicant. So it says here that the temporary foreign workers with valid work permits based on what? Based on positive labor market impact assessment of the LMIA. The number two is that LMIA exempt worker or workers determined by the IRCC or the Immigration Canada. And then the third one, the post-graduation work permit holder held by a graduate of an Alberta Advanced Education publicly funded post-secondary institution. So those who are already here in Canada, who are already working, this one is for you. Okay, if we are talking about the eligible applicants, there are also ineligible applicants. And who are those ineligible applicants? Those who are refugee claimants, because this one involves already the federal program. Okay, it's either involved in federal appeal or removal process. So because the AINP, it says here that the AINP does not intervene in the federal refugee claim appeal or removal process. Okay, next one who are ineligible would be the temporary residents living or working in a province or territory of Canada other than Alberta. If you are outside of Alberta and you are living or working outside of Alberta, although you are in Canada, you are also ineligible to apply for this stream. And the last one would be the foreign nationals living or working in Canada who do not have valid temporary residency status are also ineligible for this, because we are this kind of people here will be considered to be what? To be illegal. So you are not qualified to apply for this Alberta opportunities. Even though you're here in Canada, as long as you don't have positive LMIA, you cannot apply for this stream. Okay, the next eligibility would be the occupation requirement. So what does it mean if we have already? So now we get already that you're already in Canada. I have the LMIA or the post-graduation work permit. So the next one would be individual must be working in non-eligible occupations. It says here also that the occupation you are working in at the time your application is postmarked to the AINP is your current. It means the present occupation that you are holding right now or that you are working on. The current occupation you have right now would be your ticket in order for you to be eligible for this program. And the good news is that Most occupations under the National Occupational Classification or the NOC, skill levels 0, A, B, C, and D are eligible under the AINP. So if we talk about the eligible occupations, there are also ineligible occupations. So there, I will just show you what are those ineligible occupations that the government doesn't allow to apply for this Alberta opportunity stream. Okay, next eligibility requirement is language. If you are working in a NOC 0, A, or B occupations, the minimum of 5 for each English language skills is required. Minimum of 5. So for CELPIP, it's all 5 in all skills. So okay, and then the equivalent of this in IELTS would be 4 in reading, 5 for writing, speaking, and listening. Now, if you are working in a NOC C and D occupations, the minimum requirement for language will be 4 for each language skills. So it means if you're CELPIP, there should be all 4 in all skills. And the equivalent for IELTS for this would be 3.5 for reading, 4.5 for listening, and 4 for speaking and writing. Next, eligibility is education. At the moment, we are already in July of 2020. The minimum requirement for education is that the applicant should have at least or minimum of a high school in country of origin. As long as you finish your high school education in your country of origin, you can be eligible for this stream. But starting January 1st, 2021, next year, the minimum requirement will be, it should be minimum of high school equivalent in Alberta standard. And for those who are post-graduation work permit holders, entry-level certificates are not eligible. So if you are just taking the certificate, okay, for example, for this certificate of admin professional, okay, so it's not eligible for this anymore. So it's better for you now to consider taking a diploma, okay, or get a degree or master's degree. So the eligible credentials include post-diploma, post-baccalaureate certificates, diplomas, degrees, and graduate level certificates or diplomas. Next eligibility requirement is the work experience. Okay, so what is the qualifying work experience? So at the time your application is postmarked, you must have either, okay, number 1 is a minimum of 12 months full-time work experience in your current occupation in Alberta within the last 18 months. And the next one is a minimum of 24 months of full-time work experience in your current occupation in Canada and or abroad within the last 30 months. So what does it mean for you? For example, if you are already here in Canada working, okay, within the last 18 months, because maybe you lost a job in the middle, okay, you can just still claim those previous, for example, you have already worked 6 months and then you lost a job for 3 to 4 months, okay, and then now you're working, as long as the total of your work experience here in your current occupation in Alberta would be 12 months, you are also qualified for this stream. And another thing is, how about for those who already have a work experience abroad? Okay, because this one says here that the work experience can be a combination of experience gained in Alberta, in Canada or outside Alberta, and or abroad, but within the last 30 months. This is the requirement, the work requirement, or the qualifying work experience to become eligible for this Alberta opportunity stream. So the work experience, okay, for those who already have this post-graduation work permit, it requires a minimum of 6 months of full-time work experience in your current occupation in Alberta within the last 18 months. It is very applicable right now because most of the people or most of the students or workers already have some layoff that happened, right? Especially during this pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic. So for those time that you were laid off, you cannot count it as your work experience because you have been laid off. Okay, and another thing, okay, additional for this work experience is that for all applicants, including the post-graduation work permit holders, work experience in the qualifying period should be full-time and a minimum of 30 hours per week, and must be for the same occupation as your current occupation. Cannot have been gained while studying in Canada. Okay, this is for the students, for the post-graduation work permit holders, and doing co-op work placements or internships as part of a study program, unless you are a post-graduation work permit holder who completed during paid co-op work terms as a part of your program of study and at an Alberta post-secondary institution. So for your program, for example, it is part and you are holding a co-op work permit, you can claim that as your work experience. That's a good thing for those students. So you don't need to fill up the 6 months of work experience, but you only need, for example, if your work experience is okay, if you've done something like 4 months or 2 months of 2 to 4 months of work, it can be considered as your work experience already. You only need 2 months of work experience to qualify or to become eligible for this Alberta opportunity stream. And the next one would be eligible job offer. So it says here that for all applicants, including post-graduation work permit holders, at the time your application is postmarked and at the time the AINP assesses your application for nomination, you must have a bona fide full-time job offer or employment contract from an Alberta employer to work in your current occupation. So your Alberta employer must be incorporated or registered by and or under an act of the legislature of a province, territory, or the Parliament of Canada and operating as a business that has an established production capability, plant, or place of business in Alberta. So eligible job offer. You have an employer and they can provide you this job offer. And the last one would be, it should be a continuous paid work. Okay, so employment of 12 months or more, and you work in your current occupation. Okay, wages and benefits must meet provincial minimum wage and meet or exceed the requirements set out in your LMIA or for the eligible AINP occupation for which you have a work permit that meets AINP work permit requirements. And you must meet the terms agreed to in your job offer or employment contract at the time of application and assessment. So this one, okay, these are all the eligibility requirements for this Alberta opportunity stream. This one is I'm sharing this Alberta opportunity stream because that's the one that I've used to apply for the permanent residency here. I was a student, applied for the post-graduation work permit, had a job after graduation. I had a job, okay, and then I worked for 6 months, and on my sixth month, I applied for the AINP. At the moment, the processing time for this Alberta Immigrant Nominee program is around 6 months. So yeah, and after 6 months, you can apply already. And if you already have this certificate of nomination from the government of Alberta, you can already apply for your permanent residence. So that's what I am undergoing right now. Still, I am waiting for the final determination or final decision, my program, because this Alberta opportunity stream is only on paper application. If you submit an application for PR on paper, takes around 18 months at the moment for the processing, and I am already on my first year. Okay, it's already 1 year this July. Okay, so at this time that I'm doing this video, I already finished my 12-month. So I'm hoping that it will come earlier than expected, because the processing time it will be until January of 2021. So I hope before the processing time comes to an end, my PR application is already been finalized and approved. So I'm hoping for the best for this. So if you have any question, if you have some clarification regarding this AINP, I would love to share with you my knowledge as I have undergone this program already. So you can just put your questions in the comment section, and then I will try to answer you regarding your inquiry or regarding your question about this program. So thank you, and hopefully next time I will try to also discuss with you this Alberta Express Entry Stream. So this one is already good for those who are still out of Alberta or out of Canada. You can have an opportunity to be a permanent resident here through this Alberta Express Entry Stream. Mga kalahi, see you to our next video, and hopefully everybody, especially those who are thinking of making Canada or Alberta their second home, don't lose hope. There are always hope for us, especially here in Alberta. There will always be opportunity for us in Canada, in Alberta.